Cleveland, what's going on? Matty Wells checking in on the midday side one time. And we got to do a lot of stuff virtually because it is what it is. But today, do we have something special for y'all? Cleveland legend. And also just a brand new school that I think will appeal to a lot of people. So let's go ahead and welcome everybody in. First and foremost, we'll get Krayzie Bone in here. We won't act like, this guy is not a living legend in the city. We already know what's good with that. Krayzie, how you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. We appreciate having you on. And, we hope to get educated, man. Also, you have something that you'll be gifting to a very special person as well. So we'll talk about that in just 1 second. I want to get Kevin Greene in here, who's the vice president of this whole situation. And, of course, by now, Kevin, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. Good to see you, Matt.
Nice to see you as well. Thanks for being on. And, for those who don't know, we're talking about the Cleveland School of Cannabis. All right. Now, for one reason or another, this might be near and dear to my heart, but I'm definitely excited to just jump in and see everything that's going on with the school. So, Kevin, we'll start with you. Where exactly is the Cleveland School of Cannabis located, and what is kind of the purpose of it?
Yeah, so we're located actually on Granger Road in Independence. So, we're right outside the city, right off 77. And our entire focus around the Cleveland School of Cannabis is to develop the workforce for the cannabis industry in Ohio and beyond. We knew that the cannabis industry was coming, to the East Coast, Midwest and things. That's where everything outside, the West Coast has had its time, even before it went all legal, has had the time for the culture to kind of develop itself and develop the skill sets. And we knew that Ohioans not only had the skill sets and actually, when you think about the Midwest, all you think about is work ethic, right? They know how to grind. And we wanted to make sure that we created a platform so people can get educated and get in the industry. And especially, when we think about, people that look just like us, how do we provide them a platform so they can have the knowledge and also the connections to actually get in the industry, get hired, start businesses in themselves. So that's our 100% focus is opening up doors and connections and educating the people so they get their piece of this pie, this big pie that's continuing to get bigger every day.
Dope. And before we go any further, if you guys have, if you want to check in, anybody watching, csceducation.com is the website that, of course, we'll be mentioning again. Krayzie Bone, I want to ask you, how did you become affiliated?
Well, man, I think some of my people reached out to them or vice versa, however it was. And, when they learned that I had a cannabis brand that I'm promoting right now called Leaves of Legend. It's a premium, very premium strand of cannabis, where my brand, basically I go out and I get other legends to be a part of it, whether they're singers, actors, you know what I'm saying, if they're familiar with cannabis and they're, if they indulge, then we go get these legends to represent the brand. So when I came across this opportunity and saw what the Cleveland School of Cannabis was doing, I was like, yo, that's like exactly something that I want to be involved in, because I believe we have to make sure we're involved with this new industry. Like I tell everybody, this is like the new generation gold rush. I call it the green rush. And being that our culture, meaning hip hop and just our everyday life, our culture, we've always promoted cannabis, even when it wasn't in our favor,
Right.
we all promoted it. And I just feel like since we had a hand in making it so popular and we were punished for it, now that it's legal, we have to make sure that we have a hand in it that's bringing money back to our communities. It ain't all about, cannabis being criminalized anymore. It's a lot of ways that cannabis can help people medically, and it could bring revenue to the communities, to help these communities out.
Sure. And before, I know you have a scholarship that you are actually going to be giving away. Before we talk about that, Kevin, I want to switch back to you. Yep. So there's a stigma, obviously, on cannabis. As Krayzie Bone just alluded to, hip hop has always promoted it, and it's usually just by smoking it, right? Let's just keep it real. So what are some of the other ways cannabis can be utilized in terms of, just an industry besides or beyond just the smoking of it?
Yeah. So, I mean, great point. And Cray hit it right on top, right? I mean, our culture and our communities were the ones that were making it popular, right? And, that statement that you might always hear from, the uncle on Thanksgiving is like, it just makes me feel better, right? That's the biggest upside with cannabis, right? So people have been saying this forever and nobody believed them, like, oh, he just wants to smoke. But truthfully, cannabis is one of the best medical properties that we have that grows naturally in nature. So from when we think about when you come out of just the psychedelic effects, when you look at the medical properties, there's these things called cannabinoids, and the most popular one is THC. That's the one that actually gives us the high that we feel. CBD became very popular in the marketplace. Obviously, everybody's throwing CBD in everything right now because of what it does from a medical standpoint. There's about 100 or something cannabinoids in the plant that we know of right now, and as they continue to do research, so it's everything from helping with chronic pain, inflammation in the body. We're seeing kids, and what really pushed things over the head, I think, a lot was when you started to see parents having to provide their kids that were going through seizures. Cannabis was stopping these seizures like this. This really started to show that all of these medical prescription drugs that are out there that they're putting these young kids on. I'm talking about, you're talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cannabis with one drop under the tongue was completely subsiding these types of things. So, we have 26 qualifying conditions in Ohio right now that allow you to be able to get a medical card, and that's now just the medical side. The other side of it, which Krayzie Bone is in as well, is some of the hemp market now. He's focused on the CBD line, which still hits some of the medical benefits, but hemp could also be cultivated for fiber. So if you look around the room that you're in right now, you talk about fiber. It's basically creating textiles. So that can create everything from drywall to clothing, to desks, to all furniture. Hemp and cannabis in itself, and the two properties of it between the THC plant from the medical side and what it provides there all the way to the textile side. It's so many different avenues. And what I tell everyone, and why we're so excited about what we're doing with Cray and what we've been doing in our lane for the last few years is getting people that information. Is to say, hey, we know it's all about everyone wants to have a dispensary, but we're like, man, you can create a hair cream and get some CBD and stuff in there, and boom. You know what I mean? Now you have a whole business that you're doing. You know what I mean? You can create the next drink. You know what I mean? All these things. So, and one thing that I know for a fact is once people of color start to put in their creativity on cannabis, the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? This industry is going to be the best it can be once we get highly involved in it, because we've always done what? Take something that somebody can't see the greatness of it and made it the best thing. And we've done it. We do it over and over, and we always continue to do that. So I can't wait to see our creativity really start to get in this industry and what we're going to see next. Who knows?
All right. So, Kevin, I want you to expound on that real quick before we get back to Krayzie. I want to talk about the scholarship, but more specifically, what are the students going to be doing? Like, what does a school day look like at the school? And then let's also talk about the actual scholarship. What does it get them? How do they get it?
Yeah, definitely. So school days, man, it's a school day. So you know what I mean? We open up our earliest class is about 8:30. And it's just like everything. So once you enroll into the program, you meet with admissions. So they go over to you. What are you looking for? What are your goals? They line you up and get you situated with all the different financial services that are available. Obviously, the scholarship is one of our big programs. Then you go over to our registrar, and then you get scheduled for classes. So just like how you say, hey man, I this is my schedule. I can take this class at 8:30, this class at 2:00 on Tuesday. You get your class scheduled out. You know what I mean? And at that point, you get all the technology stuff situated. If you're doing it online or in person, and then you have your schedule. So you have classes, you have homework, you have tests, you have midterms, you have presentations. You have all of the things that you should expect. And what we say that this is school. This is education. This is all about the expectations that not only we have of you as the ones administering the education, but the expectation that you have to put on yourself. And the biggest thing that we're doing is really letting people understand that sometimes internally, you have to take away some of the low expectations that people have set on the cannabis industry and who's a part of it, and really raise it, because people are learning everything from how to the microbes that are in soil, to act actually get your soil to be the best producer and all the food that it needs. And when you talk about microbes, all these weird little names, all these little organisms that are in food, everything to the endocannabinoid system. When it's a research class now, and you're learning about the actual system in your body that that communicates with the endo. So we have students that people fail out, and people excel. So the school day is very, very consistent to what you would see from any educational institution. All I tell people is the difference is the content is cannabis, but the expectations of what you get from school are the same because, as Cray said, is we're trying to raise the bar, and we're not going to work at a lower level saying because this is cannabis. No, this needs to be respected as what it is, a great economic opportunity, a great medical properties as well, and again, a great entrepreneur opportunity to be able to create some products. So,
sure.
that's what you get there.
And then Krayzie, just talk about the scholarship, man. What do they get? How do they get it?
Man, well, we've been posting information for them to go onto the website to sign up for it or whatnot. But man, I think this scholarship is very interesting because, like he was saying earlier, when we looked at cannabis before, it was mostly about the consumption. Everybody wanted consumption, and then when it became legal, it was about I want to own a dispensary. But like he said, it's so many other avenues within this industry that people don't know about because they lack the education. And we have to educate ourselves about a lot of things. We behind as far as building up ourselves financially and securing our communities and building them up. You know what I'm saying? So we have to take this very, very seriously. Very seriously, and we have to educate ourselves in every aspect of this business so we know exactly what's going on. There's some people out there that think they can't get into this business for absolutely no reasons, but they're wrong. And if you educate yourselves, you'll be surprised at all the opportunities that are available within this industry. Very surprised.
For sure. CSCeducation.com is the website. Kevin, did you want to say something?
Yeah. And with the scholarship, as I said, it's all about education. And we're focused on the Glenville neighborhood. It's a minority-focused scholarship. And one thing to say, and what I love about the partnership that we have with Cray is that we're having a focus on our community, right? And something that always comes off that upsets me is the fact that I feel every other community gets a chance to focus on themselves, right? And build themselves up. And for some odd reason, when African Americans say, "Hey, we're going to do this for us," there's this big uproar. Like, what about everybody else? And one thing that I always say for people is look at the history. When African Americans have led the charge for injustice, for equality, for equity, everyone else moves along. Our stand up, the lives that we put on the line day over day, years over years, 400 or 500 years has always moved. It's moved this country forward. It's moved this world forward. So just because African Americans are focusing on getting them economically moving through, educating themselves so they know the opportunities, doesn't mean that you're not going to have opportunities because we've always bring the wave and making sure that everybody gets a part of that. So, this scholarship is focused on the Glenville community. It's a minority focused scholarship. You go right to our website at CSCeducation.com. It is a full ride. So it's a full ride for our program. It takes care of every single thing for you for the program in itself at $6,500 to making sure, because Cray's biggest thing was one, to making sure a student doesn't have to worry about the others. They just could come in here and focus on their studies and focus on getting themselves connected. So you go right to our website. It'll pop right up on you right down the front page. You apply for it. You have to prove, that you live in the city, live in that neighborhood by either your ID or mail, and everything is done digitally. And then the Spread the Love Foundation, which is Krayzie's foundation, has a team that'll be going through the scholarships submissions, and then they'll pick it and we'll award. So we'll award somebody by October 1st. In a sense for that scholarship, and then this is something that we're looking to do continuous year after year. So we're so excited about it, and we're so continue to do other initiatives as well around African Americans and the future of cannabis. We held our seminar at Ridall Farms last Friday, doing this. So we're working with Councilman Blaine Griffin, Councilman Phyllis Cleveland, Ridall Farms. And a few other organizations to go ahead and continue to lead the conversation and lead the charge to making sure we're getting our people connected.
So I think this is tremendous. Again, you guys have both highlighted that, hip hop we've been a fan of it. Obviously, we've been pushing it out there. We've been marketing it really at the end of the day forever. So it only makes sense for people who, if you want to think outside the box for a career. Maybe you haven't found your true calling. Tremendous opportunity here. One more time, csceducation.com is the website. I know everybody's busy. Y'all got any closing remarks before we get out of here?
I think for me, as much as cannabis could get fall to the younger generation a bit, I don't want our older elders that have seen so much despair from the cannabis industry to keep out themselves or the younger generation. We know, we understand the pain was real. You know what I mean? What happened in the 80s, what happened in the 90s, what happened even before that because of cannabis, but things have changed. And not only do we want you to support the younger generation getting into this industry and really creating an opportunity for themselves, we want you to look into the industry as well for yourself to invest in the industry, but also for medical properties. We need to get off of these prescription drugs. We need to get back to our holistic way, and cannabis could be something that can really help your entire family. So I really plead to our older generation, please, we know the hurt is real, but understand that we're here to do whatever we can to provide you the information so you understand how to help not only yourself, but help the next generation take advantage. As Cray says, this is a gold rush, and we're seeing it right now. We could touch it, feel it, and the thing is, we know it. So let's making sure that we're able to be stakeholders in this thing.
That's a very good point. Very good point. What about you, Krayzie?
Man.
You hooking somebody up with a full ride, bro? That's huge, man.
Yeah, man. It's all about giving back, and what better way to give back than to pay for somebody's education? They could have a very good it can inspire a lot of people this way, and people can educate themselves and it's just a lot in this, and I can't stress it enough, because it's like when I learned how much was available to us, if we just knew about it, it was just, man, we got to tell people about this. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I'm just glad we're doing this thing, man. And I just want all our people to pay attention, man. Pay attention and get educated. That's all I want to say.
Well, I appreciate y'all. Hopefully we can have more conversations like this in the future. And whatever y'all need, as my light is dying now, we here for y'all. So just keep in touch, man. And we'll definitely pump this out for you.
I appreciate y'all.
All right, peace.
Yes, sir.